The corporations have not yet won.
Community still exists in small tucked-away areas not often talked about.
Artists and businesses beginning to thrive in places thought to be defeated.
Dave, I like to call him David Francis.
And I, Tom Maslowski,
are here to give you a glimpse of what's going down in downtown J-Town.
We're going to be interviewing all of our favorite musicians,
artists, and business owners
that give every ounce of themselves into what they do.
And we are back at Third City Sound for a rare Friday night recording session. We got quite a crew up here tonight. Dave?
Tom?
Are you still here?
I'm with you, buddy.
I know you've been driving for a long time and that you're actually probably...
Yeah.
You're on the phone right now, actually, not even in the studio?
Yeah, I'm making deals, wheeling and dealing.
It's pretty awesome.
Trying to do things.
And now that we have a 3D printer, we can actually have Dave here before the show ends, without him even driving anywhere.
We're going to 3D print a good show when
we're going to 3D print. Actually, Ben Burkey is here with us this evening. I don't know why we did this. I don't know why we've allowed ourselves the most infamous bartender in all of downtown Joliet.
I don't know either.
That was the best he could muster up right now.
Listen, Tom, before we get started, this is about Doug and Joel, okay? I'm just here as like an impartial observer. I want this to be about Doug and Joel.
Well, we did have to warn the listeners that you were involved as a co-host on this particular episode.
Not a co-host, just watching.
Just watching.
And listening.
It couldn't be any creepier. And actually, it's not any less creepy sitting here watching him do it. It's not an act, folks.
I agree. It is exactly that creepy as it sounds.
Did you want me to give you hot sauce with the soup? Or
I love hot sauce.
Do you need a beer menu?
A beer menu would be fantastic.
Okay.
Speaking of which, Mr. Joel Rakoski.
Yes.
And Doug Cowan.
Yes.
What am I about to drink right now?
You are about to drink a beer that I made. It's called Joliet's Finest. It is a golden ale. It's around 5% alcohol, and it's made with rice and barley and corn and some Czechoslovakian hops, and it's delicious.
Tasted just like a cop.
Wow.
So this is a beer that's meant to be like your usual people that want to drink light beers, or like Bud Light, Miller Lite, and they're like, I don't like craft beers, I don't like it. Like, this is one that kind of ease them into it. This kind of a gateway, really easy light drinking beer.
So now you said you were using rice and corn and barley. Are you talking extract or
all grain? Normally we don't use rice and corn for our beers, but this one called for it. So, like I said, it's a gateway drug.
It's quite tasty.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was wondering if the gate was still open, just to try it a little bit more.
Yes.
I don't know if I like it or if I don't like it. I think one sip, doesn't
do it justice.
Me neither. Make
Perhaps
me one now, Joel.
Maybe I just want to drink more.
Well, I think it sounds like a ploy for you want to drink more. But yeah, thank you.
It's kind of a ploy.
Yeah.
And I noticed that your growler has the JBG, the Joliet Brewers Guild logo on it.
Yes.
Now, how did you guys... Now, I know Joel's going around pouring some beer for folks.
Nice.
How long have you guys been up and running?
We started March 2013, and we've been running contiguously ever since. I'll let Joel speak to it. Joel actually started it.
I'll say he was the founder.
He was a founder, so I'll let him to speak to what led him to start this.
So, 2011, I started homebrewing with my friend Chris Montgomery, and then we started going to a local homebrew club in Plainfield called Pale, and they decided to move their club from Plainfield to Aurora, and then Chris and I said, well, that's way too far to travel for a homebrew club, so let's just make our own.
I don't mean to interrupt. Which one of you said that?
It was me. I said that.
You said we said that.
Well, I think he was just trying to be general.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Jesus,
fine.
Ben.
The royal we.
I'm just
royal
observing.
we.
I'm just observing. I'm not part of the show.
That was interjection number one.
That was number one.
Number one.
That was interruption number one.
Ben has to pay for any
11
interjection.
interruptions and 3 interjections.
We were not specific
Chris
earlier. That's
Montgomery's a friend of mine. I'm not going to let people put words in his mouth. That's all I'm doing here. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
So, March of 2013, we decided to get together and have our very first meeting down at Chicago Street Pub, 75 North Chicago Street.
Our favorite place to drink and listen to music.
Yep.
Yes.
And there were 13 people that showed up, and we call those people the OG 13 crew.
Now, are those 13 people still involved with the group?
12 of them are.
Yes.
And a bunch of you guys did go on to open up some breweries. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes. Metal Monkey started because they got together and they all met at Joliet Brewers Guild. And then they went off to Romeoville and started their own. Will County Brewing Company is going to be starting up soon. They also met through the Joliet Brewers Guild.
Yeah, it's going to be in Shorewood.
Oh, okay.
Jefferson and 59.
Oh.
They're opening that plaza right there.
Yeah, that's
so,
right
so
down the
that's
street.
going to be number 2. And then also Elder Brewing
On Kes-
also has roots in Joliet Brewers Guild. So we're pretty much, we have foundations in 3, professional breweries going forward in only 3.5 years. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you guys do make some legitimately great beer. I know at Hopstring Fest I have sampled all of my favorite styles. The one that stands out the most, though, was the Fruity Pebbles beer. Was it like an IPA? Who made that one?
Jeez, who was that one?
I think that was Mike and Corey, wasn't it?
It might have been Michael Sterling.
It was like the IPA.
Yes.
Kind of, yes. Yeah, that was...
that was at one of the farmers markets, I think, last year, though.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Now, do you guys ever get together and brew together, or is it mostly just sharing beers?
Oh, all the time. We have a private Facebook club page, and we have a network where, like, I'm gonna brew. Do you want to come over? And
yes,
I
do.
Do you want to come over and drink some beer and watch me make beer and hang out? And it's like yeah. So a brew day is an event. So if Joel's brewing a beer, a lot of times there'll be 3, 4, 5 guys over there, just being there, hanging out, also helping out, cleaning and everything. So it's the actual event of brewing beer is very much a social event.
Yeah, and now I know you guys aren't actually allowed to charge people for your beer and things. So
that would be bootlegging.
How do you get the money to I know it's not exactly cheap to brew the amount of beer that you guys brew, especially for a festival or for the farmers market. Is that just coming right out of your own pockets?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's really not as expensive as you would think. For example, this beer that we're drinking right now, it probably cost me about $18 for 5 gallons.
Oh.
So, yeah, really cheap. But this is probably the cheapest beer I make. So, there is other beers that we make. It's like $50, $60 for a 5-gallon batch. Even at $50 or $60 for 5 gallons, that's still pretty darn cheap in the world of craft brewing.
Sure.
It sure is, Joel.
It's 2.
That's 2. Interjection number 2. And they got to be a little bit more creative than that. You can't just, constantly do the guy behind the curtain
This
thing.
is just ambient sound right now, okay? This doesn't count.
Ben's got to warm up a little bit. We've been trying to get Ben to come upstairs for about...
Tom, shh.
That's okay. I have
70.
a gate set, so when
Everyone-
Ben talks like that, you can't hear him.
So the audience at home has no idea how totally
listen,
amateur Ben...
This is really breaking down right now with different factions and different emotions.
It's true. We've
In a
derailed.
divided country, we have to come together. Let's go on with the interview. Joel, tell us about your Kolsch.
Oh, yeah. Good MF and call.
It's not a Kolsch. It's a Kolsch.
Oh,
Kelsch.
man. We just got schooled.
That was the name of the beer, actually.
We're here to learn.
I named the beer. It's not Kolsch, it's Kelsch.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that was at Blue Island Beer Company.
Yeah.
Now, were those guys ever involved in the guild?
I brewed that beer for the Charlie Orr Memorial Competition, which is a national competition that takes place in Crest Hill. And I scored gold on that one. And if you score gold in that competition, then you're allowed to brew that beer with the professional brewers, and then you can submit that beer for the Great American Beer Festival, which takes place in Colorado usually.
Yes.
And so, we submitted that beer, and we didn't do very well, but still, it was a great experience to brew that beer. on a professional 10-barrel brewing system.
Yeah.
So
you didn't brew that at Blue Island Beer Company?
no, I did.
You
But,
did?
well, before I won the competition, no, I did not. But after I won the competition, then yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
He did, and I think that beer was at the farmers market last year.
Yeah,
Blue Island, when they had their thing at the tent
Sure.
at Joliet Farmers Market, Blue Island brought that and put that on tap.
Yeah,
and serve that. So
I'm a big fan of that beer. I get it when it's out there.
Blue Island calls their Kelch 5 Bridges, and when they served it for the first time, the brewmeister there said, "Now this is definitely not your recipe. I just want you to know."
Oh.
It's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
We didn't steal it from you. We just ripped off of it, right?
Right.
What was the first beer that? Well, I'll ask both of you individually. But what was the first beer that you ever made on your own?
Oh wow!
I know mine. It was called Fatty Boy IPA, and it was terrible.
What did you call me, man? It was terrible.
It was god awful. Oh my lord, it was so terrible. That was the first all grain beer I ever brewed, and I did not know what I was doing, and so it was just.
Wait, no. So like, you're saying the first time you brewed beer was all grain right off the bat?
Yes.
That is kind of a big undertaking. Now, how would someone? What would they need to do if they were going to do this for the very first time?
You know what? This is a cool hobby in the way that you can do it as simply or as complicated as you want. It could be as easy as having a pot and heating up water on your stovetop, or you could have an electric system with a heating element and do 20 gallons at a time. It all depends.
So okay,
but it's not complicated.
Hold on,
it's super easy.
You know what's not complicated is saying the word complicated, Doug.
Really?
Yeah. Interjection number.
Did I complicate that?
Did you?
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Did you redo?
Why did I even come up here?
If you were going to brew a 5-gallon batch for your very first time, what would you need? You say you can just do it on a pot on your stove.
You could, for a 5-gallon batch, probably.
I wouldn't recommend 5 gallons for your first batch of beer, though. So
what would you say?
Probably like 2 or 3 gallons would be a good
if you want to
starting
do it on a
volume.
stove, yeah.
Why is that?
Because for a 5-gallon batch of beer, you have to account for boil-off rates. So, like if you're boiling beer for an hour and you're boiling off a gallon of beer, that means you have to have at least a 7 or 8 gallon pot, and most people don't have one of those sitting around their house. So,
sure,
yeah, smaller pots, smaller beer amounts, get you started.
What is the smallest amount you've brewed at one time? Either of you?
1 gallon.
1 gallon.
1 gallon.
3 gallons. Yeah.
For what? Now, what made you just do 1 gallon?
It's really helpful because if you're doing a lot of experimental beers, you have no idea if it's going to turn out or not. So, just spend just a small amount of money and away you go.
I see. You can do a bunch of different trial versions of it and everything.
Yep.
How many of those have you had going on? And did they ever go on to become like beers that you're proud of?
Yes. There were quite a few beers that I started off with 1 gallon batches, and it usually took me 5 or 6 tries to dial in the recipe just right, and they went on to be some of my flagship beers that I brew on a pretty regular basis.
Now, how much does the actual recipe itself fluctuate? Is it simply just multiplying it, or is there adjustments that have to be made when you make larger batches?
It's a scalable thing, so there's always adjustments when you're scaling it up. It's not necessarily 1 times 1. I mean, does that make sense? It's
there's an equation.
Yes, there's an equation
like
to make it rest. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too much different. Like 5 gallons, 10 gallons, 20 gallons, but it'll get you in the ballpark. But there are some slight adjustments that you have to make.
What's interjection number 4?
Yeah, that's number 4. Now, Joel was going around pouring more beers while we were talking here. What is this now that I'm about to
this is one I made for a contest. One of the cool things about our club is we do in-house contests, and this was we did a cereal roulette. So we did a thing like if you said you're in, okay, and then you threw your name in a hat, and then you draw a cereal, and you have to make a beer that represents that cereal.
Oh,
so this is one that I had, and I had Honey Smacks. So this is my 3-gallon batch. I put 3 boxes in.
3 boxes
in 3 gallons, yes. And this is I called it Honey I Smack the Kids. So
why? How high is the ABV on this one?
It's not bad. It's between 5 and 6.
It's for kids, Tom.
Well, you said Honey I Smack the Kids. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Isn't that kind of a really mean thing to do?
It is.
Maybe.
I'm afraid to drink this.
That's
right
the thing.
now.
But I mean, that's the thing about craft beer. There's no rules.
Yeah, especially in the
you just gave that to Burkey now. Is he gonna be running around trying to smack us?
Especially for homebrews, you really don't have to be politically correct with your names for homebrews. So
no, that's true. They're not going on anyone's shelves.
That's right.
Tom, do you mind if I just say one thing?
I don't mind.
Earlier.
Wait, that was a lot of things. That was.
I need you to be quiet right now. Earlier, I have something I have to say, and I just need to get it out.
Oh man.
Earlier I
Folks,
gave
prepare
Doug
yourselves.
a hard time about trying to say the word complicated. But now I just had this beer of his, and it's very earthy. It's very complex flavors. It's actually awakening some emotions in me that I haven't felt.
This is coming
And
from the
it's
Bush
great.
Tall By.
It's great. And I want to say this too. I think Doug and Joel are two of the best brewers that I know, and 2 of the best Americans that I know. All right, go back to your show. Go back to your show.
Thanks, Ben.
We have multiple shows going on this evening.
Oh boy.
Wow. Okay. Thanks, Ben.
What do you think about the beer, Tom?
Yeah. What do you think?
I like it, and I can actually taste the Honey Smacks. in
Yeah.
there. It's very tasty. I would drink a growler of this. What do you got? What do you got going on over there?
Oh, Joel. I think Joel's hiding it.
You want some more? Is that what you're saying?
Joel was like, oh,
Joel's like, I want all the
This is
Honey
kinda
I
my
Smack the
favorite.
Kids. Yes.
If you run
no,
out.
and I think I still have some beer.
All right.
I think I did ask once a few weeks ago, do you guys have a list of every single beer that the Guild collectively has brewed as they were together for 3 years?
Highly doubtful.
No,
I mean,
not a chance.
Yeah, I keep track of all of mine, but I don't think everybody in the brew club does that.
No, it's there's been so many beers that have passed through. I mean, and so many bad takes. So many that come by and like, this wasn't really that great. Like people don't want to take note of it. Like, let history forget it.
So
know?
now will you guys kind of really talk, frankly with each other then? Like, oh, this is not good, man. This is why it's not good, or
are you more like musicians?
Well,
yes and no.
Yeah, you try to be politically correct about it. You don't say, "Oh man, this beer tastes like ass," but you do say, "Oh well, like how high?" You ask technical questions like, "How high did you mash this at?" And I detect some off flavors here and there and stuff like that. And
so
blah,
you
blah,
do
blah.
talk shop and everything like that.
Yeah.
Is it open to the general public?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you guys generally? I know during the summer you moved around a bit, but where are your meetings generally held?
Our meetings are the second Wednesday of the month at a Chicago Street Pub.
And anyone who brews beer can just show up and say, "Hey, I just wanted to."
Yes, anybody that brews beer, anybody that's interested in craft brewing or interested in brewing beer, is definitely welcome to.
Anybody just wants to come talk shop.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
So now, have you guys helped people put together like their rig before? Like, have you had someone come in totally green and you guys got them up and running?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
we just had one of our members who's been around for like a year and a half just finally got his rig put together and just did his inaugural brew day this past weekend.
Oh, awesome! What did he brew?
What did he brew?
I think he brewed a pale ale, and it was really great because he had been coming around for so long and had been like slowly putting together his brewery rig, and then we saw on Facebook that he did it this past weekend, and then Wednesday when we had our brew club meeting, we kind of celebrated him and we said like, "Hey, way to go, Rick!" and it was a cool thing,
Yeah, very cool.
He's been coming around for a while, and he finally did it. So
Well, it's cool that people can come and do it if they have no idea. They want to learn. Like, where else do you go to like learn something like that?
Right. Yeah.
Where else can you go to learn something?
yeah,
like that?
I mean, it's not a
College, you assholes.
we're not.
Ben's a college expert apparently.
I've been to 7 of them.
Quite a few
And kicked out of all of them.
Yeah, we try not to be a snobby or elitist group. We try to be very welcoming and very forthcoming with information and just helping people.
Now, if you were going to be snobby, what would you say is the best brewery? Not necessarily local, but like what is Doug? What is your favorite brewery that never lets you down, and why?
Rock bottom.
Rock bottom. I'm sorry, I will go on record saying that's my least favorite brewery that's ever existed on
I'm
Earth.
sorry I said that.
He's not sorry. He's
Really, never let me down.
2.
I'll tell you what. I'll keep it local too. One of my favorites, and I think it gets overlooked, and it is local, is Brickstone.
Okay.
I think
I like
Brickstone,
Brickstone.
is a really solid brewery.
Yeah, they do some good stuff.
I think they're especially their APA is a absolute winner. I think it's a zombie dust killer, and it's always there, and all their beers never disappoint. And yeah, that's the first thing that came off the top of my head.
What do you got, Joel?
Blue Island. Sorry, Blue Island. Yeah. They always do excellent beers.
They're super clean
yeah,
and clear.
and I know those guys well, so I'm kind of biased, but
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
But
those guys are
they're
great.
and their recipes I feel like are consistent. You know, over the past, what's it been? 3 years, 2 years, 3 years,
4 years, I think.
4 years.
Has it been that many?
I think
already?
so. Yeah.
Wow.
But all their beer, it always tastes the same. If you go to get the early and
Yeah.
often, that's my favorite. It's a black ale. I think I always say it wrong. They get pissed at me. But I think that's probably one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
And man, what did they have? It was a crazy name. It was the craziest name I'd ever heard of. I can't remember what it was. It was so off the hook. But they had like 5 new beers when I went in last time, and it was like this. What was it called? Like a strong lager, I think it was, or a strong dark lager, and it was aged in the bourbon barrels.
Was it Jerk Store?
I met
No.
a strong dark lager in Seattle once.
Typical.
Go back to you, Tom.
That's 6. he just double charged you for that one.
Over the line.
Ben's here tonight to get a little confidence boost. He's been down in the dumps lately. We wanted to make him feel like he was a star, so he's kind of hamming it up for the audience here tonight.
Thanks, Ben.
Ben, can you tell me what style of Busch beer is perhaps your favorite style of Busch beer?
I'm more partial to the light beer.
I like
That was the best Ben
Holy
impersonation.
shit, that was
That
great.
screwed my
That was
brain up.
amazing. I'm like, how is he reading my thoughts? like Dave Francis does such good sound. He's picking up my brain.
He's like, that is one hell of a contact, Mike. So,
I like the Busch Light that's in the camo can.
camo can is the nicest.
By the
one.
way, I didn't know before this show began, I asked Doug I thought I saw a Busch regular in the fridge. It's Busch Coffee Lager. They have no business doing anything besides Busch and Busch Light.
yeah, thank you.
Ben, I
very
agree
much.
with you. Ben, I
And
agree
even
with you,
that's
totally.
pushing it
Yeah,
sometimes.
just come on, do the
I love
Busch.
Busch Light. I love it all, but it has its place.
I totally.
Stick to what you know.
Yeah. I can't wait for the Busch IPA.
I like you guys' beer so much that I'm currently wearing your beer. Talk amongst yourself while I go get some paper towels.
Okay, we did save the best for last. This is
Damn.
this beer has created a little bit of a buzz around Joliet. It's
No pun intended.
Wow, how did I not catch that?
Nice, dude. It's a moon pie. This is made with chocolate and marshmallow fluff, and it's pretty ridiculous, Joel. I mean, this is your beer.
You have that here?
Yeah, it's a dangerous beer.
Yeah, it's dangerously good.
Do you have that with you?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
come
we
out,
have it
come
here.
on out
Yeah,
there, Dave.
come on.
I'm on my way.
I'll
right.
fetch him. I'll fetch him a beer.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh man, that's great.
So now, what kind of chocolate did you use?
You use Hershey's unsweetened cocoa powder, and like 3 jars of marshmallow fluff per 5 gallons.
It's not a light beer.
No.
So now I've noticed that a lot of people, when they brew any kind of chocolate beer, they always use the unsweetened.
had in my life.
Oh my god, this is awesome! Let's have a cheers.
Cheers,
Hey,
everybody.
cheers, guys. Thanks.
Tom.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for being here.
We're having a cheers, Ben. Cheers and shut the goddamn fucking hell up.
Cheers.
It is marshmallowy.
Oh man.
Yeah, every time I have a beer and I say, "Oh yeah, that's the stuff," then I know I did right.
Yeah, yeah. So, what would you guys? And I know you're into a lot of different kinds of things, and we were talking a little bit downstairs before Dave got here. But my favorite styles are kind of like the obvious ones. I like stouts, porters, IPAs, and barley wines.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have favorites? I know you brew all different kinds of stuff.
My favorite style is coming out right now. I love Oktoberfest. I am so excited for Oktoberfest season, and most of the local and big breweries put them out. And I just love trying them all and having them. This is like my peak time. So
what makes it an Oktoberfest beer? I've always wondered that.
Well, I mean, most of them.
Okay, so like IPA, October? Typically we all know have like lots of hops. So what is like
there's a certain ABV or IBUs. International bittering units for classifying a pale ale versus an imperial pale ale versus a double or a triple. The Oktoberfests though are very malty. They don't depend on hops very much at all.
A lot of sweet caramel malt.
Yeah.
So now, do you mean malt? You're talking about like powder? Like what makes it malty?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean
it's just the malt flavoring from the barley. Gives it a nice residual sweetness kind of thing.
Answer the question.
What?
I think you did, you weirdo. You were never a good lawyer type.
Jesus. What makes it malty? Answer the question.
So it's not as light and airy as like a lot of some of your.
There's a lot of barley and not a lot of hops, Ben. Jesus.
At long last, sir, have you no decency?
And he's not even writing anything down. He's not going to remember any of this.
As you wipe yourself.
Yeah, I told you I spilled the beer all over me. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Burkey.
He's trying
now,
to
if you were being a proper bartender and hooking us up, none of this shit would have ever happened.
You're right, Tom. I'm not being proper.
You're very improper. You're causing me to swear a lot on this episode.
And you're wiping yourself more and more the more I talk.
Here it comes.
Hey, Ben, do you have any more of that Bush
signature
coffee lager?
I'll just let it grow for a week, and I'll have as much Bush as you need, Doug.
Jeez.
You can't grow beer, man. You don't grow beer. That made absolutely no sense.
What are we talking about?
Beer. It was an episode about beer.
So, Joel, what's your favorite style of beer?
It varies. Right now, I'm really digging on the stouts. Have been for I don't know, like 6-8 months. But I don't know.
What is your favorite stout? Okay,
commercially.
Yes.
Gee.
And I know like everyone's gonna say like stuff like Dark Lord and Bourbon County Stout, but I want like a deep cut.
Guinness.
No, like Night Stalker or something like that, or Mephistopheles, or
Prairie Bomb. Prairie Bomb is probably
a great one.
Top of my list.
Now, who does that?
Who does that one? I forget the
Artisan
name.
Ales out of Texas.
Yeah, you can get that at Iron and Glass in Romeoville on Weber Road. Other places you can get it the open bottle.
Open bottle
out in
Tinley
Park.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
What was before the whole... Well, I guess maybe I should say, how long have you guys been involved with craft beer, like just drinking it? Is it... Like, were you guys there from the very beginning, like with the Maple Tree Inn, and they were the first ones to have... I remember they had...
He's saying, are you legit or are you bandwagon?
No.
I will openly admit I'm a bandwagoner. I really did not get into craft beer until I started brewing beer. And then when I started brewing it and went through the process and smelled the mash and smelled the grains being hot and then the boil entering the hops and smelling the hops, I really didn't understand beer until I actually started brewing it. And then once I did, I was hooked.
So how did you get involved with it then? Was it because of the Brewers Guild?
No, it was actually before that, but it was only like 5 or 6 months before that. One of my best friends was getting married, and he was interested in brewing beer, and me and another friend went in on buying him a brewing kit. And then we started doing that. So we did an extract kit, and then we went over to his house and we did it. And then I was just hooked because we were like, we could do it outside. We could drink while we did it. We could listen to music while we did it. And we're like,
sure,
we're doing this anyway. And we can also make something. We're like, all right, we're in.
Right.
So ever since then, been totally into it.
And you don't keep track of your old recipes or the old beers that you've made?
More recently, yes. Yeah, more recently, yes, because how it's processed. Not to get too technical, but there's extract brewing and grain brewing. So when I started out, it was an extract brew, and then we kind of moved over to all grain, which gives you a little more control on it. So now that I'm doing that, I'm keeping more track of recipes. But some of the old ones when we started, I have no idea.
Don't even want those anyways. Now, is extract more of like a processed food kind of thing, and like is all grain?
A lot of people akin it to making a cake. All grain brewing is brewing from making a cake from scratch.
Sure.
Extract brewing is making a cake from a box.
Sure.
But I don't know. It's a little more complex than that. I mean, like the only real difference between extract brewing and all grain brewing is that there's just not as many ingredients available to the extract brewers.
Oh.
So, their range is limited in what they can brew.
Sure.
So, if you're happy with that range, then you're good to go. But if you want to branch out into some other stuff, then you're going to have to go all grain.
So now you have to have like a grinder, then like a big like a milling machine, so to speak, or something. Or what do you guys do? Like you just dump the grains in there.
You need to build the grains, but I know at Chicago Brew Works, they have a mill there, so you can buy the grain in bulk from there, and then mill it there, and then take it to your house and brew. So otherwise, you could invest in a mill, but it's not necessary in order to start all grain brewing.
Do you guys have your own mill then?
Joel does. I don't.
That's awesome. Joel's better than you.
Wow.
Well, Joel is. I mean, if you saw
that's so awesome.
If you saw Joel's brew rig, it would blow your mind. I mean, he could probably put a man on the moon with that with his how he's got it rigged up. It's an amazing
we are
electric
drinking
brew.
moon pies.
It brings all the boys to the yard.
Yes.
And that are what did you say?
What?
And those are the chimes. Not that are. Those are the chimes.
Does that mean we're out of time?
Signaling the end.
Okay.
Of the interview.
Can I do one last question before you do your last question? No, this is an easy
Ben,
one.
I'm going to force Ben to
Doug
read
and
these.
Joel.
Duncan Hines.
Doug and Joel, I want you to say one word that describes Mike Trisna. It doesn't have to be English.
Mike Trisna, the owner.
Doug first.
Co-owner of Chicago Street Pub. Sorry, Kathy.
Glockenstein.
Wow.
Yes.
What does that word mean?
Right. I know what you mean.
Oh, that doesn't have to be a
Doug,
word.
don't say a word. Joel, your turn.
Said a word.
Mike Trisna is what?
Davenport.
Yeah.
I don't know why that provoked those. Also, Ben prepared other questions that I'm going to force him to read.
These are from random callers.
Sorry. These were random callers here in our
correspondent.
Yeah. Yes.
No, Tom, read it in my voice.
I almost kind of want Dave to read it in the Ben voice.
Yeah. Dave did have Ben voice.
Ben, can you, however, please provide some intermission music as I make the track back to the studio? That's not music, but we'll take it.
Tom is walking back to Dave. Tom is walking back to Dave like a little homeless slave, 'cause he has no self-esteem. Tom sucks. Dave is a talent. Tom sucks. Oh, song. Okay.
Got these,
Song's over.
Sorry.
These fucking napkins here.
Oh man.
Number one.
Ben writes on everything on napkins.
That's Ben.
Also, Dave's freaked out because he's never used a napkin. The drooling fucking slob.
That's right.
I apologize to each audience member who's had to endure
what was
Ben
it
as long
like?
as we have.
This isn't terrible, Ben. What was it like for you to be forced out of the JGB so unceremoniously?
It was hard for me, but I got over it, and I came back, and I'm slowly working my way back up to president, unbeknownst to Doug.
God bless you,
who's
Joe.
sitting right next to me.
We're all pulling for you.
Thank you.
Was that really the JGB?
JGB, he said
okay.
that. JGB.
All right.
Well,
I'm just reading them as they're written, guys.
These were questions that were called in by Ben earlier.
I understand. I understand.
The listeners, I don't know. I've been bartending all day, messing with people.
The Joliet Guild of Brewers.
I got this weird crush on Dave Francis. It's fucking weird. Okay. Tell me about number 2.
That was written down, by the way. Thank you.
Tell me about trying to set off bottle rockets in a moving car.
It's easier than you think. As Ben can attest. Yeah, we were driving around 4th of July, and Ben was lighting bottle rockets out of the back of my car. And then one bounced back in, and it was rattling all around the inside. And then Ben did an amazing athletic move, and he jumped on top of the seat. And
Just like the end of Saving Private Ryan.
He trapped the bottle rocket under his foot on the seat. And then 2 seconds later, we heard a whoosh. And then Ben lifted his seat or his foot, and there was like a 3-inch deep hole in the upholstery.
My last words to Joel were, earn this.
And I think we have one final question for Doug. Is that right?
Yeah, this one's for Doug.
Thank God.
Oh, goodness.
Doug, you have done almost nothing to contribute to the benefit or welfare of downtown Joliet. Why do you even open your bearded?
Is that a question? Is that a question, or is that just
Finish
a
the question.
You didn't laugh without laughing.
Is there a question in
I
there?
got so close.
It's a criticism.
Why do you even open your bearded mouth?
Well, that is a ridiculous question.
No,
from caller Ben, but I will tell. I'll give it a serious answer. I love downtown Joliet, and I hope I can do something for it. If I've disappointed Ben, that's one of the saddest things in my life, because I live for downtown Joliet. I live for the Joliet Brewers Guild, JolietBrewersGuild.org. Like us on Facebook, Joliet Brewers Guild.
We really do want to be a fixture in Joliet. We try to go to as many little festivals as possible.
Yeah, see you guys all over the place. Actually, I think it's
and
pretty great.
we give away free beer.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not like us? We try and go, if it's Joliet and there's an event where they're serving beer, we want to serve beer there. So
yeah, a lot of
great beer too.
A lot of times they don't allow us to, but
See how that question opened up a nerve, but ended up being a great finale to the show. Yeah, thanks, Ben. Oh, it's okay, Tom. Oh.
That's number 8.
We did ask him on the show for a reason, I suppose. I would like
Ben,
to think...
why don't you do the outro as an impersonation of me then?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me give myself a head injury.
We don't have insurance for that up here, please.
Tom.
So typically you want to say goodnight to each of the guests. Say goodnight to each of our guests, Dave.
Okay, well, Tom, it's good night to you again, but Doug Cowan and Jill Rakoski, you guys are just fucking so good. So fucking good. Thank you.
You also got to thank Bill and the Trisnas. Bill Aldrich.
Yeah.
I don't.
Thanks, Bill.
I sure as fuck don't got to thank any of those
Thanks,
people.
Bill.
Triz, thanks, Kathy.
We'll cover...
Thanks, Triz and Kathy,
Slack.
for ignoring labor laws and fucking me over. Billy, thanks for coming down and asking for food to go and leaving it there. And then going, where is it 4 days later? Oh, pay your tab, too. Yeah, thanks, guys. You guys are great people.
Folks,
Fuck. Sorry.
I hope you would enjoyed this episode, but I don't know if that is going to be possible after what we've done here tonight.
We definitely enjoyed it more than you did.
It's a work in progress.
Come on.
It's a work in progress.
Come on.
Everyone give yourself a round of applause.
Did we have fun? I had fun.
Clap, 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 clap.
This has been What's Going Down in Downtown